and roar. Superdome, New Orleans core. Primitive instinct, wrestler soul. Reality show is hardcore. Master law, not so flex. Rings on fire, who's up next? Adrenaline pump, don't perplex. Jabs and slams become the Rex. Slam it down, hear the crowd. Primitive instinct shouting loud. The ring, we're spellbound. Epic moves, warriors proud. Survive the pain, fight for fame. Wrestlers live and breathe the game. Primitive instinct is the flame. Roaring fans know their name. Bodies slam into the night. Sweat and tears under lights. Every move, paragraph fight. Superdome excite. Slam it down, hear the crowd. Primitive instinct shouting loud. The ring, we're spellbound. Epic moves, warriors proud. Slam it down, hear the crowd. Primitive instinct shouting loud. In the ring, we're spellbound. Epic moves, warriors proud. Survive the pain, fight for fame. Wrestlers live and breathe the game. Primitive instinct is the flame. Roaring fans know their name. Warriors proud.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Scotty Mac, and welcome to the pay-per-view that everybody in sports entertainment is buzzing about, Primitive Instinct. Oh my God, where do I start? We're going to get started in just a little bit, but if you know a friend out there that loves sports entertainment and loves to have a good time, let them know right now that we are live and direct. And I'm about to bring on my co-host for this tremendous event that took place in New Orleans in the Superdome, and we had 70,000 plus eating out the palm of our hands did PWR, and boy, oh boy, are the numbers telling the story. But before we get into the story, let's bring him on. He's my co-host. He is one of the most decorated superstars in PWR history. The ladies love him. And he's the postman because he always delivers. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Mr. Consistency, the postman, T-Money.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is T-Money, the postman. Everything Scott just said, they call me that because I deliver, Mr. Consistency. What's up? Let's get this damn show on the road.
T.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's an exciting show. It is such an exciting show. I'm not being facetious when I say that. It's an exciting show. If you missed it, you should have paid the money to see it.
T, we're talking about one of the most tremendous pay-per-views. Of course, we are now reloaded. We are back home where it all started, doing what we do best. And the fans have spoken, saying that we are still numero uno. Now, I don't speak Spanish, T, but I'm pretty sure that means we're still on top.
On top, number one, all the other good stuff. Hell yeah, who would have thought something would be different? If you thought different, then hell, there's something wrong with you. If you don't like fried chicken and watermelon, there's something wrong with you. Either way, let's go.
All right, let's get it going. Before we get started, let's go through our traditional announcements. You know, they call me the pen piper for a reason. You know, I'm a very imaginative, creative thinker.
Who the hell calls you pen piper?
The pen piper. That's what the ladies call me.
Who calls you that?
The ladies. The pen piper. No?
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
Wait,
don't tell anyone else that.
I'll be right back.
So before we get to these announcements, ladies and gentlemen,
all right, they call me the thick Sharpie Piper. the thick Sharpie. All right, it might not be the extra large Sharpie, but it gets the job done, T. Listen, speaking of getting the job done, somebody who couldn't get the job done this week to be the first ever host of Primitive Instinct was motherfucker due to a very severe illness. You know, when things hit Mac, they hit him hard. Unlike most other professionals out here running corporations, when it rains, it really pours on old Macky Mac T.
Yep, more than salt.
Listen, Get well soon, the motherfucker. We wish him to be in good health and good spirits soon. And we know from what he told me, he's very, very disappointed that he couldn't be the first ever to host this event. He will try to do his best to do something in the future, but you just never know. How many times are we going to have a pay-per-view where fuck is not on it? So we'll see if we can capitalize on this in the future. But nonetheless, the gate numbers were spectacular. I'm going to do my Triple H. We studied the gates and broke all, shattered everything. So T, 70,000 plus, screaming PWR. You were in the building. What did it feel like?
Hey, you know what? I'm not even going to front on you. It felt like electricity. I know that's a classic thing to say, but when you walk into a place and you ain't even out on stage, you ain't even in the ring yet, and you can feel your hair rise up on your arms, you can feel that chill go up your spine. Yeah, it feels electric. It feels like something's happening to your body that you can't control. And so that's what it was like. So I said, you're in for a damn good show.
Now listen, PWR took over the city of Mardi Gras all week, but a big time announcement before the event. Shooter J went on social media and said he had something in store for fans that has never been seen before in professional sports, and not to miss his matchup against Dylan Mason.
I was nervous.
What do you think that could be about?
I was nervous as hell. I thought he was going to pull this out real quick. I was nervous.
We'll see what Shooter J has up his sleeve, or what.
No, we saw.
We'll see what Shooter J has for us later tonight in his matchup, T, because I'm telling you, it's going to be something to see. The Bronx Bomber is something to see when he's healthy and in the ring, and he seems to be getting closer back to himself. He's not quite at 100%, T. We wish him as well. We dedicate this pay-per-view to the Bronx Bomber. He is in a much better physical condition than he was. We're getting updates, of course, from his fiance, Candace, who is taking good care of him, rubbing his feet, feeding him grapes, whatever the Bronx Bomber needs, she shall be doing.
You dedicated the whole show to Bronx Bomber there. You could dedicate a match to him. I mean, damn, the whole show?
Yeah, I can. How about let's dedicate the tag team championship match to the Bronx Bomber. All right. The sold out arena was buzzing, and we were about to gear up for the first match of the night. T, I didn't go to school for this, but it doesn't take a wise man to tell you that when you want to open a show and you want that show to be a banger, the first match will set the tone. And that's what I was thinking this one. All right. The first match of the night, T, because, I want to see a genuine reaction from you, is for the number one contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship, a matchup between Beast Mode Aaron King going one-on-one with the Equalizer, JTO. Yes, that's how we're starting the show off, T.
Goddamn.
Are you ready?
You made my voice get high.
All right. I hope to do that several times this broadcast.
Hey, pause. No Diddy.
No me. Listen, the winner, I have to remind fans, the winner of this matchup will become the number one contender for the PWR World Heavyweight Championship. What a big contest and matchup this is. JTO's entrance, T, was smooth and determined, much like always, silky smooth, while Beast came out much more amped up, much more energetic and vocal, as well as he looked into the camera and said, Redemption City, right into the fans viewing from home. He seems to be on his redemption tour. We're about to see both superstars found out early in the afternoon. They would be.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You talked about Beast Mode's entry. He would be mad if you didn't mention that he came out with Lloyd Banks playing. Just tell him that.
All right, Lloyd Banks.
Just pick a song. Lloyd Banks. There you go. You got it.
Yes. It was a Lloyd Banks banger that brought him out, but Beast Mode was charged up, looking to be locked in for this one. Both superstars found out early in the afternoon, T, they would be opening up the entire pay-per-view Primitive Instinct in front of 70,000 plus, and both superstars were indeed honored to be the first match that PWR is reloading, coming back home. Both of these gentlemen, you would agree, will take pride in being that first matchup coming home.
It takes a lot of trust to be the first match out on a pay-per-view like this. It takes a lot of trust. You got to trust that they're going to go out and show out. You know what? I got to stop saying stuff like that because people start stealing it. But either way, it takes a lot of trust. So they knew what was at stake. Number one contendership on the line, you know that they were ready. They were amped. They were about to go out there.
And the fans were ready as well, T, as the electricity in the building could power a small neighborhood as people were standing on their feet and cheering as JTO and the only beast that matters went face to face in the middle of the ring. It was unreal to see. Cameras were flashing all over and fans were screaming for both Aaron King and the Equalizer. Made it clear the fans have wanted PWR back, and we are back as the bell rang, and the two kept jawing back and forth with one another as Beast leaned his head into the forehead of JTO disrespectfully, and that's when Jay pushed him off quickly, and then Beast cocked back the first punch of this contest that would turn out to be a barn burner, to say the least. The right hand staggered JTO a bit, and then Beast grabbed the arm of the Equalizer and whipped him into the ropes to nail him with a nasty shoulder tackle and a roar to the fans as he held down the top rope, giving the fans what they wanted, screaming at them. What did you think about the early ongoings of this matchup, T?
Yeah, I was curious about it. I was curious who the fan was going to be behind because you know what? In this type of match, the fans give you energy. Yeah, it was like 50-50. I didn't know who they were going to get behind. I think they were behind both. So whoever gets the upper hand, that extra energy from the fans is probably going to feed them. And it looks like Beast Mode was taking advantage of that early on.
Yes, sir. A leg drop followed and a quick pin attempt for Beast. Only got one before JTO kicked out strong, T. JTO then tried to get up, but walked right into a devastating clothesline that dropped him again. Beast bounced off the ropes and leaped up high and nailed the Equalizer with the big-time body splash as he pinned him again for the one, the two. But JTO kicked out as fans gasped. What a close call that was. Beast
Indeed.
then growing impatient in this one, signal for the only knee that matters. Fans stood on their feet to see the devastating finisher as he took off towards JTO with the big-time flying knee. But however, JTO had enough in-ring experience, and he's a veteran, to see it coming a mile away. He dashed out of harm's way and then rocked Beast with the super kick and followed this up with a belly-to-belly suplex, taking the massive Beast down hard. JTO then got up with some fire in his bones as he dropped a headbutt to Beast and then held him in place as he dropped crushing strikes to the cheek and forehead of Aaron King. After the fifth or sixth shot, he pinned Beast for the one, the two, but Beast kicked out as JTO turned to look at the official confused, who was indeed confirming that it was only two early on in this one. What a matchup early, T.
No. See, one thing I want to point out is if you thought JTO was just going to take all the slaughter, all the onslaught from Beast that much and early on in the match, come on, man. He's a habitual line stepper. We talking about JTO, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Right up there, speaking of JTO, he then signaled for his finisher, the Equidriver. We all know about that as fans started popping for the big-time move. This was a slugfest so far as Jay grabbed Beast back, who pushed JTO back into the ropes. He came flying towards Beast, but he countered the leap in the air with a snap body slam hard to the mat. However, during this maneuver, the right boot of JTO nailed the official Ravi Habibi. He's one of our best guys, right in the nose, taking him down, grabbing his face from the impact. Unintentional, of course. JTO grabbed his midsection from the brutal impact as now Beast was looking at both JTO and the official on the mat, who was also banged up pretty bad. T, you've been in these situations where the ref gets knocked out.
Unintentional. You know how many times I've unintentionally knocked out a ref? You know how many times I've unintentionally...
Don't tell on yourself, T. We can go back and find people on tapes. We got the library.
I mean, it's on tape. You can go back and look at it, but the referee's decision is final. I don't give a flip right now. Keep going.
Listen, the referee was on the mat, banged up pretty bad, as well as JTO. Beast then took this time to think, fixing his dreadlocks, thinking of what he could possibly do next, and he opted to try and get Ravi Habibi to his feet. Let's get
Robbie
the
who?
official back going. Ravi Habibi.
BB.
Suddenly, coming from behind the announce table was a hooded person, T. Now, we've seen this before. A hooded person that grabbed a steel chair, folded it, and then slid the chair into the ring, grabbed it, and then nailed Beast right in the head. And I mean right in the head, T. But the fans popped because Beast seemed to just eat the chair shot. The devastating chair shot seemed to do nothing to Beast, but it was that second chair shot from the hooded assailant that was heard round the world as Beast crumbled from the crucial blow down to the mat. The hooded assailant backpedaled down the ramp with the dented chair in his hand, seeming to admire his work, T. He got all the way to the ramp as both JTO and Ravi Habibi were finally coming to. Neither had a clue what had taken place inside of that ring at this point, T. JTO only saw Beast down and out, and he quickly got him up in position for the equal driver as he nailed it and pinned Beast for the 1, the 2, the 3. The fans were booing, and JTO had no clue why the fans were upset. And he finally took a look down the ramp as to what the commotion was all about, and he spotted the hooded individual as cameras zoomed in closer, T. And guess, oh, baby boy, guess who it was? Ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I would say this, but as he took off his hood, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. August Stevens. T,
Man,
listen.
why everybody got to be in the hood, bro?
Listen, we got a glimpse and a close-up of August Stevens. Now, my question to you, T, bounce pass, boom. All we need is a layup or a dunk, possibly.
I got you.
No look. T, August Stevens, why, oh, why would he stick his nose in the business of Aaron King in such a vital point in his career? You know this is going to make me a lot of money. That's what this is.
Because as someone that I look up to said, you either phony tough or crazy brave. That's all I'm saying. In a number one contendership match, that's when you want to pull it. That's when you're going to do it. All right.
Opening match of the night.
Or crazy brave. Phony tough or crazy brave. That's all I got to say. That's all that adds up to. Because now, I know if I would have did some stuff like that, I mean, I need some I need to make sure.
I'm going to ask you the questions before they're asked in the locker room. Let's just throw it out there. We've seen August before.
Yeah.
He says at the contract signing with me at a luncheon. You know what he said? He said
no one knew about. Thank you.
He's a changed man. Yeah. He's more of a professional.
True.
But I had no idea that he was going to dent one of our steel chairs on the head of Aaron King. I can't wait to see what comes out of this, honestly.
I can't wait to see it because it's going to be hilarious. But you know what? I'm not going to lie. I've seen the man. I've seen him around. I've seen him grow. I've seen him improve. I've seen all that good stuff. But at the same time, you picked the wrong night. You done pissed off the wrong motherfuckers. So it don't matter who he had attacked in that match. I'm still saying phony tough or crazy brave. I don't know which one it is.
Sources are telling me that JTO is unhappy with the interference in his matchup as well. So there could be a toll to pay in more than one E-way, if you know what I mean.
Phony tough or crazy brave. You picked the wrong match, the wrong people, the wrong time.
Nonetheless, the number one contender for the PWR World Heavyweight Champion officially is JTOT. So he will face the winner of Jack Harvey and Big Hurt. Big time stuff as we look on the road to Rise to Power, our next big, massive pay-per-view. T, are you ready for the next one? Because there's so much action to get through. This next matchup was arguably one of the funnest matches I've ever witnessed. The first time ever a
How you gonna ask me a
survival,
question and keep on talking?
a survival instinct match.
And then keep on talking.
You had to survive through a lot of things in your life, incarceration.
I don't want to answer that question no more. Go ahead, keep going.
So my question to you is, T, what was your take on 7 individuals starting in different places in the Superdome to eventually have one man standing to move on and become the #1 contender for the Power Surge champion? Who writes this stuff?
I was going to say something really, really nice too, but I'm not going to anymore. Thank you. Keep going.
All right. I'm going to try to survive with you for the next hour and some change. We heard some fans and superstars calling this next match the survival of the fittest match that featured superstars who would start in different parts of the Superdome, and only one would be left surviving and standing tall and moving on to face the winner of the matchup later on between El Guapo and Toa the Warrior in the Power Surge Championship coming up. But this one featured Crimson Wolf, Legacy, Multiverse, which one we'll see soon, Reggie Walker, the Reckless One, the Viking, Masked Assassin, and David Hill. They were all ready to go. And again, this is one of the most entertaining matches in PWR history. Cameras located in the parking lot of the dome of the Superdome in New Orleans featured Crimson Wolf, David Hill, and the Masked Assassin. All 3 were starting in the parking lot. Woo.
In the parking lot. All right. I'm with you. Okay. This, I was getting ready for this one, buddy. You know what?
Reggie Walker and Legacy started off with the fans, fighting amongst the fans in that front row, somewhere in the front row section, surrounding them, getting that old school wrestling feel. And of course, what's a wrestling show without concession? T, you got to have peanuts, you got to have hot dogs, you got to have popcorn. So the concession stand,
you stay away from the hot dogs.
The concession stand was occupied by the Viking and 3 members of the multiverse who now had to decide who was going to compete in this high stakes matchup. Now remember, rock paper scissors would determine who would be in this pay-per-view matchup, a history one at that. Now it gets interesting, T. One of the members of the multiverse, the first one I should say, was Singh, the cab driver. We all know Singh. Making his first appearance on a big stage like this was Francois, the bourgeois brawler. Francois, who we've seen recently from the multiverse. And of course, Winston, the Jamaican, who had a huge spliff in his mouth as they played rock, paper, scissors. And ladies and gentlemen, it was Francois, the bourgeois, who nodded his head, playing it real cool and smooth, as he would be the man to mix it up with the Viking in the concession stand area. The bell rang, and we were off in this matchup. Immediately, the Viking went to work on Francois, drilling him with a devastating spear and a few kicks to add on for good measure. Francois made an awkward, bougie-ass sound when he was getting his ass kicked. I don't know.
What did it sound like?
Grunt.
What did it sound like?
Whoa. I don't know. Yeah, something. Francois, he thinks he's real slick. Viking then went to the concession stand and asked for a beef hot dog. We just talked about this, T. Put it on match tab, said the Viking as he took a big bite of the beef hot dog and looked to stuff the remaining half in the mouth of Francois.
But Francois, I have nothing for that. You keep going with that one. I ain't saying nothing about that.
But Francois was like the Pink Panther and quickly grabbed the wrist of the Viking and twisted it all up in some crazy awkward positions and messed him up like he was doing some Zack Sabre type holds on his opponent. Francois then yelled, "Finger lock!" as he then twisted the fingers out of proportion on the hand of the Viking and bending it in places that his fingers shouldn't have went. Paul,
that's called
we then quickly got. You said what?
That's called joint manipulation, and it ain't got nothing to do with Snoop Dogg. You can't be doing all kind of no, you can't be doing that. Ain't nobody throwing up gang signs in no Muslim man.
We then quickly got a peek of the fight, T, going on in the parking lot. Let's get it going as Crimson was laying right and left hooks to the body of Masked Assassin as David Hill tossed a garbage can on both Crimson Wolf and Masked Assassin, taking them both down hard. David picked up Mass Assassin and took him down back to the concrete hard with the devastating Glock bottom. David Hill looking good early here. The back of Mass Assassin was crushed as David Hill then went for Crimson Wolf to do the same thing to him. As he went to pick him up, he picked Wolf up. But Crimson Wolf was much too savvy and fired a strike right into the temple of David Hill, taking him down hard. Crimson Wolf then saw Mass Assassin hurt badly and grabbed him by the neck and pushed his head right through a Chevy Malibu car window, shattering the glass, which cut Mass Assassin all over the face and neck as he was bleeding. And Crimson Wolf looked into the camera and said, "Oops." The crowd absolutely popped as he quickly pinned Mass Assassin for the 1, the 2, the 3, which would be ending the night of Mass Assassin. He then picked David Hill up, who drove a few hard shots to Crimson Wolf's body. But for the first time in a long time, we were getting slight glimpses of the savage side of Crimson Wolf we all grew to love. And he threw some big-time chops to the chest of David Hill, who backpedaled against the garage wall. Then Crimson threw a big right-hand shot, but David Hill ducked and Crimson's hand hit the concrete wall. He grabbed his hand in agony and pain as he held it tenderly with his opposite hand. David Hill then suplexed Crimson on the pavement. The ref was in position for the 1, the 2, but Crimson Wolf kicked out. He kicked out as the fans popped. Then that's when cameras flashed back to the ringside area where we got to see Legacy, of course, and reckless Reggie Walker trading big-time shots until, of course, Reggie Walker kicked Legacy on his kneecap, buckling him. Reggie Walker then leaped high for a clothesline, rocking Legacy. The kicks and the punches from the Reckless One were taking their toll on Legacy, as Legacy was having a hard time covering the shots up. Reggie Walker then spotted a wooden table and tossed Legacy in that direction as the fans started chanting, "Get the table, get the table." The fans were exploding at this point, and let's face it, PWR fans were getting exactly what they wanted to see in this one. But who would go primitive? Who would take it to the next level? And Reggie Walker was that man. He was about to do that. He set the table up and laid Legacy on top of it as fans stood 68,000 plus cheering Reggie Walker on. He then looked up and started thinking crazy bullshit as things in his head started turning, and he moved like a cat, leaping up and climbing almost 15 feet from where Legacy was laying on the table, T. You've seen something like this before, as Reggie soaked in the moment from the fans and that energy like you talked about earlier. He leaped off for a reckless elbow, falling down hard right on top of Legacy, pinning him for the 1, the 2, the 3, as Legacy. We'll see you later. Good night. C'est la vie. Francois, at this point in time, put the hand of the Viking on the ground and stomped on it, T, as he went for some buttered popcorn. "You know I have to watch my calories, but please with salt," said Francois, as he said to the person that was serving popcorn.
That's the reason why I didn't want Francois to be in this damn thing.
Man, what a character. He tasted the buttery popcorn, but before he could pop the second kernel in his mouth, the Viking yelled out a roar and pummeled Francois with a big boot to the face. This could be it. As he said, "You stupid son of a bitch, go back to France or wherever your bougie fucking ass is from," said the Viking. The Viking then backpedaled and was getting ready for something huge when Francois pulled another trick out of his bag, yelling in the direction of the Viking, look behind you. It's the Green Bay Packers." The perfect thing to say to a Viking, right? The Viking turned around and did indeed see Jordan Love, the quarterback for the Packers, who's also a big-time wrestling fan, who was in attendance, standing next to 2 rookie wide receivers for the Green Bay Packer team. Viking turned back around in disgust, but walked right into a spinning Bruce Leroy kick that dropped Viking in his tracks. Francois pinned the Viking for the 1, the 2, the 3. Wow. What do you think about this matchup so far, T? Jeez.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
We're still going.
I love the psychology that's going on in this. I love it. Reggie Walker, man, I don't think I've seen anyone climb like that since they had to be running from the cops. So with no cops around and he climbing like that, that'd be great. Man, oh gosh. The Bruce Lee work kick. Boy, you could tell who really wants this. You could, and Francois, what you doing, brother? What you doing here?
T, we got more. Let's keep it going. Now, cameras took us back into the parking lot where David Hill was trying to decapitate Crimson Wolf with the spear, but Crimson leaped up out of the way just in time, sending David Hill's head first into a parking meter. Thank God it wasn't any change in there. The meter didn't survive, but either did David Hill as Crimson lifted him up quickly into a Crimson's lullaby. He dropped the big man and pinned him for the 1, the 2, the 3. A valiant effort from David Hill, but his night was over. Now, at this point, Crimson Wolf had a bloody mouth, and he seemed to have it going like he used to at this point. We talked about it. We're watching it backstage. He started marching towards the ring area at this point as Reggie Walker, we switched cameras, was slow getting up. And Francois as well was making his way down from the concession area, down from the 200 level. Fans were absolutely losing control, Postman. They were going berserk at this point because we were going to get these three in a showdown in a collision course. Legacy and Masked Assassin were both taken to hospitals locally and in critical condition. We wish them the best in their recovery. Then cameras got the angle everyone wanted, fans, as Francois pounced on Reggie Walker with some big-time haymakers. It was on and popping now. He then took the time to light a long-ass cigarette, the Extendo cigarette. I don't know what they call it.
What was that? Virginia Slim or something? What was that?
I don't know. It ain't 100. That bitch is bad.
200. A 200. We're gonna call it a 200.
Look, Francois is feeling himself right now as he inhaled the smoke slowly. Fans were loving it. They loved the Francois thing, but the novelist of violence didn't care for Francois' antics at all. He drilled him from the back. No meat with the double axe handle smash from hell.
Yeah.
I said no meat.
I'm just saying you need to work on that in the future.
But then Crimson was met by a brutal forearm as Reggie Walker got back in this one with some big heavy shots that sent Crimson towards the ring tumbling. He began mumbling things out at this point, and fans started worrying that he was going back, as it almost seemed as if Reggie knocked him back crazy again. Walker threw Crimson in the ring. The fans were behind the Reckless One, who scaled up high again, this time on the top turnbuckle for something big again. He jumped off with the Reckless Elbow, crushing Wolf with the finisher. He pinned him for the 1, the 2, but Francois dived in to break up the pinfall as fans were going absolutely crazy, What a phenomenal match. These fans were getting in the Superdome. Francois then dropped Walker with the devastating DDT. He bounced off the ropes and nailed the 5-star splash on Reggie as he quickly pinned him for the 1, the 2, the 3, as Reckless Reggie Walker was eliminated. Fans were booing. The fan favorite was out of this one, and Walker's night was over. What a great match and a great gutsy performance by Reggie. Wow, the daredevil that kid is. Now we're down to 2. Only one of these 2 stars between Crimson Wolf and the Multiverse. Francois, one-on-one with Crimson in that ring, would go on to become #1 contender against the winner of Toa and El Guapo.
Slow it down. What's on the line between these two? Slow it down and tell them what's on the line between these two.
Now, the winner of this contest, of course, moves on to become the #1 contender and face either El Guapo or if the Warrior retains his title later on, coming up soon. Okay, pause on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you back? Are we okay?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm selling the dream. I'm selling the dream.
What an interesting freaking contest this is. Crimson Wolf got to his feet, and Francois stood across the ring from him as fans poured in support for who they wanted to win this contest. Half of the arena wanted Francois, half of the arena wanted Crimson Wolf to regain his former glory. Francois turned away and ran into the ropes and flying back towards Crimson Wolf, but a drop toe hold from Francois did it, took him down face first. Wolf then went to the back of Francois and straddled him with a clutch of some sorts to his neck. A lot of devastating chokeholds in this one. Francois could only tumble forward as Wolf's head then hit the turnbuckle. Then he started spinning. He was dizzy. He was spinning around and talking to himself, and fans worried that it happened indeed. Crimson was knocked back delirious. Francois just looked confused and puzzled as what was going on with Wolf, as he had completely went off the rails at this point, and we wanted to know what was going on, as Francois, the bourgeois brawler, had no clue. Then Francois went to check on Wolf, who was shaking. He was convulsing at this point, almost like if he was having a seizure, but that was all a part of the plan. That was all a part of the plan, apparently, because Crimson Wolf lured Francois close and then headbutted him right on the nose. Blood started coming from the nose of Francois, who couldn't believe it. He was in shock as he saw blood trickling down to the mat. Crimson then nailed a kick to Francois' ribs and locked him in the Crimson's lullaby as boom, he pinned him for the 1, the 2, the 3, the winner of the match, and the new #1 contender for the Power Surge Championship, Crimson Wolf. T Money, your thoughts on this? Is Crimson Wolf getting back to that dangerous specimen we know him to be?
I don't know what you mean by getting back. I didn't fall for any of the shit that he's been doing for the past couple months. I don't know what you mean, getting back. As soon as I saw that
walking alligators, you thought that was normal behavior? You thought he was go that far?
Yeah.
He's
I did. Yeah, I would think he would go that far.
It is Crimson.
As soon as he was down on that mat convulsing and shit, I'm like, yo, I done been in that situation before. I know when somebody's playing. I saw that shit and I'm like, yo, he finna bust him right in his. Oh snap! He bust him right in his shit. Yeah, I saw that. But you know what, Francois, you got to get a little bit more savvy, man. Crimson Wolf look like you got a little bit more hood than you did I thought. But good job. Hey,
what a match. Now, I have a question for you. Should Toa or Wapo definitely be looking over their shoulder?
Hell yeah. Did you see what this Joker just did? Like,
I think
off the hinges.
It could be a slight contrast between. All right, I just needed a little analytics from you, analyze something. Is there a significant difference between Brandon Buck as a #1 contender and Crimson Wolf as a #1 contender?
Which one can get off the hinges? Which one has shown you they're off the hinges? Which one is off the hinges? He's off the hinges right now. You don't know what to expect from this man. He may seem like he's trying to pretend to be crazy, and sometimes he is crazy. He is unleashed, unloose. There is not an answer to that.
I have a question I need an answer for. Have I ever been scared to spend money? Since you know me. All right. Well, I did it again. Let's see what we saw next.
Wait.
I've always liked a good magician, a good master of illusion. He will be making his debut very, very soon here in PWRT. What are your thoughts? Any advice, any thoughts for the newcomer?
I mean, Rey Mysterio's name literally means the King of Mysteries. So I mean, there's room for that. But at the same time, I would see what a young cat got. I'll see what he
Have I ever
got.
have I ever told you that this suit jacket's getting a little snug on me lately? It's not quite as
I mean, bro, find your inner T money. Reach down deep inside yourself. No Diddy. Find your inner T money.
all right, because we're
Bro,
getting hot. We're
no,
getting
this is
on
PWR.
fire.
We give it to you raw, right? Get raw with it. Get raw
Hey,
with it.
Can you imagine we've only knocked out 2 of these matches? We have 6 more to go. This is already one of the most craziest pay-per-views in PWR history. We're back home! We're reloaded, ladies and gentlemen, and this next match is another championship bout between the reigning, defending Empower champion Dylan Mason, and of course,
Thought
his
about it a little
opponent,
while
his
ago.
challenger, the man who vows to make wrestling great again, specifically PWR, Mr. AK, Shooter J. Now, remember, we talked about it earlier. Some big surprise, something that Shooter J had up his sleeve, as he always does in these situations. The fans were locked and loaded for this one, as an odd scene took place, T, that we have never seen before in PWR history. Hear me
Y'all ain't
out.
seen it before PWR. I seen that shit before in real
Hear me
life.
out. A dozen men in black suits, tailor-made, and dark shades came down the ramp looking in all directions, looking and scoping out the scene. It took a brief moment for all of us to realize what we were seeing, but this was the Secret Service of the United States of America surveying the ramp area and ringside area. We don't know what the hell was going on, T, but then the music of Shooter J played, and Mr. AK, Shooter J, talk about our in-ring entrance for a pay-per-view. He came out, ladies and gentlemen, standing side by side with J.D. Vance, the vice presidential nominee for the Republican ticket, who received a mixed reaction from the fans as Shooter J clapped his hands and yelled, looking in the camera, "I got backup tonight, PWR." Wow, T, before we get any further, take your political views out of it. Talk about a big splash. The guy could be the next vice president of the United States, and Shooter J seems to be that close to him. He's a wrestling fan. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that could be huge. That could be nice.
A lot of money.
It's a risk. It's a risk not on Shooter J's part. It's a risk on his part.
Is this our first politician?
Yeah. As a politician, you got to be careful because, as you said, mixed reviews. So you could have lost some people, you could have won some people. But no, Shooter J's cool. Shooter J's cool.
Well, apparently, from what Shooter tells us backstage, JD's a huge wrestling fan. He grew up loving it. And of course, PWR has the best to offer. Shooter J got in the ring, and
Who the fuck didn't grow up loving this shit? Never mind.
JD Vance stayed outside of the ring. He wanted to keep his distance, of course, for safety purposes, as the music of the Sublime One, Dylan Mason, played on the sound system. Now, let's face it, Dylan Mason has no clue who J.D. Vance is, nor does he care, or should he? I should ask. Fans stood to get a glimpse of the reigning defending Empower champion, who has been on a bit of a killing spree as of late, and vowed to make Shooter J another body, as they call it in the streets. The question in this match for Shooter was not about winning and losing so much, but more about leaving New Orleans in one piece with his life intact. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, the referee showed the Empower Championship to the fans before signaling for the bell, and we were off. Now, right out the gates, it was Dylan Mason who came out with this signature array of unblockable strikes that Shooter had no choice but to try to absorb. He then whipped Shooter into the ropes and leaped up high for a beautiful Pele kick that almost took Shooter J's head off, T. Even J.D. Vance made a face as the cameras caught as Shooter J.
How do you know he made a face?
Because
how do you know he made a
face? He made a face.
No, I mean, looking at that face, how do you know he made a face? That damn, never mind. Keep going.
Mason then quickly leaped to the top turnbuckle and skied off for a cross body splash that crushed Shooter J as he fell backwards. He pinned Shooter for the 1, the 2, but Shooter J kicked out as he was still strong early on in this matchup. Mason, however, wasn't wasting any time or movement as he swiftly spun Shooter's neck around and crushed him into the ring with the Dutch Slayer neck breaker.
God dang.
He pinned him again for the 1, the 2, but Shooter, that son of a bitch, kicked out again as Shooter clearly was taking the easy way out in this one. He wasn't taking the easy way out. He was still fighting. Still, he could have took the 3 a pinfall ago, but he was still fighting on this matchup. Was that the
right.
We're about to find out. He got in the referee's face, did Mason, briefly, and then when he turned around to focus back on Shooter, he was drilled with a solid right hook right to Dylan Mason's mouth. Mason spit out a bit of blood into his hand and started chuckling, that sadistic chuck like a maniac he does at the sight and taste of his own blood. Shooter J wanted no parts of this as he backpedaled into a corner with both hands up. Mason charged full speed towards Shooter J with his head down, seemingly for a spear. Mason was going so fast, but Shooter J moved in time, and Mason's left shoulder drove hard into the ring post and stuck with his legs up in the turnbuckle. Shooter J leaped into action outside and had a perfect angle as he booted Dylan Mason hard in the face, sending him back crumbling inside of the ring. Wow. Shooter then went to the second turnbuckle and leaped off for a knee drop that hit perfectly, T. He pinned Dylan Mason for the 1, but quickly Mason was quick and getting his shoulder up and free. This definitely was frustrating and pissing Shooter J off, who pushed him back down aggressively, pinning him 1 again, the referee, before Mason once again kicked out. Woo! Shooter J popped up, staring the referee down. Do you see the future vice president over there watching? Says Shooter J. Do your job, pointed Shooter J at the referee. He then signaled for the midnight run as fans stood, seeming to witness an upset here in the making. Could we be witnessing a new champion as he nailed Mason with the finisher and pinned him for the 1, the 2, but Mason kicked out again, ladies and gentlemen, and J.D. Vance couldn't believe what he was watching ringside. I loved every bit of it. Shooter J was in pure, utter disbelief at this point. He called for another midnight run and picked Mason up. But as he tried to nail the midnight run another time, Mason had other ideas as he exploded with the drop kick that sent Shooter J flying across the ring. Dylan Mason signaled for the Pele kick as fans stood on their feet. He bounced off the ropes, but J.D. Vance tripped Mason up as he fell down. How dare he? Shooter J then attacked Mason right away, who had no clue even who the hell J.D. Vance was. Oh my God. But T, just when you think it can't get any sweeter, just when you think it doesn't get any better, the fans absolutely lost it as walking down to the ring in a fast pace and almost a jog, ladies and gentlemen, was none other than the running mate with the future president of the United States, President Harris. We're talking about Coach Walls as he exploded the entire Superdome. I popped for it. PWR at this point was trending on every single platform in the world as now both vice presidential candidates were about to be face-to-face live in New Orleans on Primitive Instinct. Coach Walls tried to get close to J.D. Vance, but of course, the Secret Service stood between both politicians. It was pure pandemonium as Shooter J lost focus, but he went to exchange words with Coach Walls as he said, "What the fuck are you doing here?" says Shooter. "I was invited by your boss. Now shut up and look behind you, weirdo," said Coach Walls. Boom! The Pele kick from Mason dropped Shooter right in the grass as he nailed the Blood Eagle to Shooter J, quickly pinning him for the 1, the 2, the 3, the winner, and still your Empower champion as the building erupted. What a finish to this matchup. Dylan Mason still on top. The Secret Service, of course, got both candidates out safely with no harm or ear scrapes done to either candidate. T-Money, Whew. That's a lot to dissect. But let's start off first with the history-making event. Two politicians at a wrestling show, one getting involved in the matchup here, the other calling Shooter J a weirdo and apparently leading to his demise. Where do I start?
You know what? Start. All I'm saying is, if politicians want to get involved in this business, if they want to get involved, all right, then shit. Which one of y'all got some head?
Wow.
Let me get a thing where some of y'all one of y'all got to get some head, because the last time we was truly good was when Bill Clinton got some head. So let me hear about y'all.
You think he's talking about me, or is he talking about you, or is he talking about JD Vance?
All right, no, I ain't talking about you. I know what you gonna do. I'm talking about these politicians. If y'all get some head and let it come out, and no, it can't be from your wife, it can't be from your significant other. Get some head from
wow. Already one of the most exciting pay-per-views in PWR history. We still have ways to go here, T. Listen, they say
strange head. Get some strange.
They say politics doesn't bring people together, but wrestling does. And we could come from all different walks. We could come from all different walks of life, and I think that's the message here, T.
What goes better together than wrestling in the head? You ever got some head while watching wrestling? I'll rest my case.
Why does
I'll rest my case. I'll rest my case. Y'all want my vote?
God, please, Hector, get your kid back, please. All right. Speaking of which, that just reminded me to promo the fact that we will find out later in the ladder match, will Puerto Rican Hector get the Boricua kid back, or will he remain the slave, the child slave, pause, of Kwanzaa?
Well, damn.
All right. Are you ready? Because I'm ready for this next one. I'm real excited for this next one.
I'm ready for some hair right now, but I mean, whatever.
Can we settle for the tag team championship for now? Until later? Then you can do what you do. All right. The tag team championship match is here, T. Ooh, boy. I'm going to love this one.
Yeah, go ahead. Drink up. Enjoy.
Featuring, of course, my co-host, half of the tag team champions, the reigning, defending, undisputed PWR tag team champions, along with the true villain, Nappy Boy. We're set to clash against challengers, a team that was put together, Tonstradamus and Joker J. A lot of people thought this would be a good team, but
hodgepodge is a motherfucker. But
let's find out. My favorite thing is here, and that's tag team wrestling, T. You know that. And this next action coming up between the defending tag team champions and a team that was suddenly put together in Joker J and Tonstradamus. Joker J was red hot in the smoke brand before they closed doors, and Damas has been very impressive and definitely in discussion, if you would agree with me or not, for newcomer of the year. I feel like he's in that discussion somewhere in PW.
Yeah, he in the talk. Yeah, keep
all
going.
right. Oddly, these two insisted in coming out to the ring individually, not together, which made fans wonder if these two could actually coexist and dethrone the best tag team in the world. Yes, T, I give you your props, the best in the world, at least going into this matchup. The odds were heavily, and I mean heavily in favor on FanDuel, as they had Venom, a big-time favorite in this one, and especially in PWR. We have to remember anything can and will happen, and you never expect the expected.
Man, go on with the damn match. Shut the fuck up and go on with the match.
You're very agitated, I see. Damas came out first looking very confident and focused as he waited in the ring for his partner in crime for this one in this tag team matchup, Joker J, who came out his normal confident self, but instead of laughing like he usually does, he had a stern frown on his face and stared in the direction of his partner, Damas, and this alerted fans that something was off. Before this matchup even started, neither said a word to one another as they waited in the ring for their opponents, the champions, and Venom's music played on the sound system. I didn't ask for anything there. The two undisputed tag team champions looked ready to rock and roll. They looked to be in tremendous shape. And the real villain and the postman soaked in the mixed reaction of cheers and boos that were coming from the sold-out arena. And, of course, as we know, Nappy Boy is his hometown, so, of course, he has some of his little cronies there. Nappy was somewhat of an ambassador all week long in the city in preparation for this huge card, which, if you will agree with me again, has already been quite a tremendous show. Both superstars gave the official tag team championships over, and Nappy Boy quickly threatened to run over after Damas as the referee quickly held him back. That hot-headed villain, I tell you. Cameras in the back at this time showed the powerhouse champion, Mel Walker, taping up his wrist and watching from the dressing room. Very, very interested in the outcome of this matchup, of course. The bell rang, and T-Money was going to start things off for the tag team champions, while Tasha insisted to Joker he could handle the start. The two locked up, and Damas drove T into a corner. The referee asked for a clean break, and Damas denied by raking the eyes of the postman. Oh, I loved it. He then whipped T into the corner and followed with a devastating clothesline. "This is your delivery, man!" He questioned the fans, who booed Damas out of the building. Joker was holding his hand out for a tag, but Damas blew him off and then started to drill T with the right and left hands. The problem with T was, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, he's a street fighter. So the more you hit him, it seems like the more he loves it. And he had the frame, yeah, T, I'm going to get you over here, of a young Terrence Crawford, let's say. So as he took a punch, he swung for the fences on his own and hit Tasha Damas right out the goddamn park. The shot staggered Tasha as he started seeing stars above his head. The postman bounced off the ropes and nailed him with a broad kick to the face. He quickly pinned Damas early for the 1, the 2, but Joker J saved the day as he broke up the pinfall, and Nappy tried to get in the ring, but the referee warned him to stay out. T-Money then dragged Damas into the corner of his teammate and tagged Nappy in. Nappy drove a big-time knee to the side of Damas and added insult to injury, yelling out to the fans, "You funny-looking motherfucker," said the villain. But this seemed to wake Tasha Damas up, who kicked Nappy in the shin and then literally bit the villain on his forehead. He went to tag Joker in, who ignored Tasha Damas. He ignored him. Nappy crushed Damas down hard, who was in bad shape now, as he took a big forearm to the head. And Joker J, "Mi gente, do you understand? Now it's about both of us," said Joker J. Joker J clearly trying to send a message to Tasha Damas. Damas looked to be wearing down at this point in the matchup, T. Nappy tried to get him in the natural nap, but Damas freed himself and pushed Nappy away, finally diving over and tagging the hand of Joker J into this matchup. The fans were so loud as Joker crushed Nappy with the right hand and left hooks, and then whipped him into he whipped him into the ropes. He charged Nappy, but he leapfrogged, only to be met with a slingshot from Joker J on his way back as Joker kicked up and signaled for the Joker's wild. "Let's go." He lifted Nappy up and dropped him with the devastating move. He pinned him for the 1, the 2, but the postman T-Money kicked Joker in the back and then crushed Tasha Damas off the apron on top of it. The referee got the postman out of the ring as the villain took full advantage of the referee's focus on T and laced the low blow kick to Joker's baby maker. A roaring elbow from Nappy and a quick tag to the postman was looking like more and more bad news for Joker J as T-Money skied from high above with a nasty curb stomp. He pinned Joker for the 1, the 2, but Joker kicked out on his own. Joker kicked out as fans started chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Woo!
Now, ignorant ass.
T-Money had Joker in a tight headlock, but about 50 or 60,000 plus were cheering on Joker J as the building was shaking. They wanted him to fight free from the postman. He drove a few elbow shots to the postman and finally fought himself free, as he slowly tumbled towards the extended hand of his partner, Tasha Damas. But just at the last second, Domus pulled his hands back and dropped from the ring apron, ladies and gentlemen. Ha 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 ha! He mocked Joker J as he backpedaled down the ramp. Joker just looked deep into the eyes of Nostradamus as he laid on his belly, and he got kicked in his back, temporarily disabling the Cardinal. The Postman tagged in the villain from Venom, who scooped up Joker J with a natural nap. T bounced off the ropes, ball kick to the back of the head. Nap time. 1, 2, 3. The winners and still undisputed PWR Tag Team Champions, Venom. Domus waved off Joker as fans booed him out of the building with passion and hate. T-Money, it seemed like it was going to be easy work for you guys, a bit more of a challenge than maybe some expected, but just like predicted, these two couldn't get along. My question to you, T, is, did it go the way you thought it would go, or did you think Joker would turn on Domus?
Who got the damn bills?
Venom. Venom.
Huh?
Venom.
Who got them? Huh? What? Say it again.
You want to show us, or?
No. Say it again. Say it again. Who got them?
The undisputed PWR Tag Team Champions, Venom.
All right. So did it go the way I expected it to go? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it went the way I expected it to go. No, you know what though? I'm not gonna be funny. I'm not gonna be funny. Thank you for the match, you guys. Thank you for showing us that even though you can come together and possibly provide some great new innovative styles that we have not seen before, you prove that you are not ready. And Joker, keep damn laughing. I mean that. Keep laughing.
All right. Take yourself out of the equation. You're tag team champions, yada, yada, right?
Yeah, yada, yada.
As a wrestling fan, can Joker J and Nostradamus get your money?
If they ever found a way to kumbaya, sit around a campfire, toast some marshmallows.
No, what I'm asking is, would you pay money to see these two go at it? 1-on-1. Could they get your money? T, no pun intended. Could they get your money?
No. I thought you meant could they actually get the titles from us one day? My bad. But do I want to see them go at it? Because he just cowered out and just left his partner out there out to dry? Yeah, I'll pay for that.
It wasn't about Domus and his actions. Listen.
I'll pay for that.
I've known Joker for a long time. You have as well.
Pay.
It would just say Primitive Instinct could be the pay-per-view of receipts, because there's going to be a lot of receipts to. And we're still going. We're still going. All right.
We ain't even. Are we halfway done? Are we halfway?
Almost. Oh, your voice. All you doing
is.
All right. We'll keep going then. The next matchup of the night. The Power Surge Championship. There's a lot riding on this one. Toa the Warrior versus El Guapo. Now, we talked about odds with the Tag Team Championship. The odds of this one, much, much closer. As the measuring stick of the Power Surge division, Toa would have to defend his title against El Guapo. Ladies and gentlemen.
I give both of them respect.
Guapo's music played and the fans loved El Guapo in New Orleans. As many thought this would be his night to get back in the championship mix in PWR. He waited in the ring for his opponent. And of course, the music of Toa the Warrior played on the sound system. And the Power Surge champion looked shredded. He was cut as the fan favorite took a deep breath and tried to take in the moment in front of the sold out Superdome. Toa oozed with confidence, of course, as he made his way down to the ring. He then handed over the Power Surge Championship to the official, and he showed it to the fans, who grew more and more excited for this one, T.
Hey, yo, was he looking like Wolverine in that Deadpool movie? Like he was shredded like that?
I haven't seen it yet. I still haven't seen it.
Was he looking like Wolverine in any other Wolverine movies? Was he looking like that?
Yeah, he was shredded.
Because I missed that one because, we just had to.
Did you see that? Yeah, he was in the
back. No. We just had to eradicate some fools from some shit. Anyway.
Are you
Hey,
ready?
Tua.
The referee then signaled for the bell, and the two paced around for a few moments before locking up. Wapo used his power advantage to walk the champion down into a corner and then laid some European uppercuts on Toa that really did some damage early on in this contest. He suplexed Toa like a rag doll and was showing his tremendous power early on in this contest. El Wapo then picked Toa up and lifted him on his shoulder for a running power slam, but the veteran warrior slipped down from Wapo's shoulder and pushed him in the back. As Wapo turned, he was met by a Samoan leg sweep and a leg drop to follow. Toa quickly pinned El Wapo for the 1, the 2, but El Wapo pressed out of that pin attempt. What a matchup we had here early. Toa bounced off the ropes and leaped up for a curb stomp, but Wapo had him scouted well and grabbed him by the ankle and locked in the one-leg submission that he calls El Breako. Woo! Kind of simple.
What?
El Breako. I'm not, Espanol.
No, that don't sound like a good move. Keep
All right.
going.
Toa was screaming in pain at this point as the official asked him if he wanted to submit and lose his championship. No, yelled Toa, who slowly scooted towards the ropes. It starts happening about match 5, guys. Bear with me. He reached, but Toa dragged him in the middle of the ring and continued to put all of his weight on the leg of the reigning Power Surge champion. Toa was close to tapping out at this point, but he finally rolled over, sending Wapo flying off of him. Toa was limping badly, however, at this point, as El Wapo began charging towards him for some big-time move. But the heart of Toa is like the heart of a lion, and it's unmatched by few in PWR as he put pressure on the bad leg enough to fire a kick with his off foot. The shot landed right on Wapo's chin as he went down to a knee. He then sprinted full speed towards El Wapo and got caught in the El Drapo. He got caught in the El Drapo finisher as Wapo pinned Toa again for the 1, the 2, but Toa kicked out. Toa kicked out right before the hand of the referee touched the mat as El Wapo thought he won the match and he was looking for his championship belt. He was actually looking for his title. Meanwhile, the referee was pleading and explaining to El Wapo he had not yet defeated Toa. He couldn't believe it. He thought that was it. They showed the replay. It was so close. Camera showed Toa putting something in his mouth that he got from his trunks and chewing it. His face looked disgusted by the taste as Wapo grabbed him by the hair and Toa quickly spit something out of his mouth in the face of Wapo. Whatever it was took El Wapo's vision as the referee couldn't tell in the moment, in the heat of the battle, if it was just spit or some foreign element. He locked Wapo in the kill shot at this point. Boom! Nailing it in the middle of the ring as he hooked both legs for the 1, the 2, the 3, the winner, and still Power Surge champion, Toa the Warrior. But for the first time in a long time, fans were booing the Warrior who snatched his championship from the ring announcer and mocked El Wapo with a huge grin from ear to ear. Toa has finally resorted to his old ways that I told all of you he would eventually do. T-Money, the Postman, you know what it's like being a champion. You know what it's like having a target on your back. My question to you, dirty, cheap win by Toa here, unexpected, but do you think the pressure of being a champion, the weight, is making him resort to things that he wasn't doing months ago?
I ain't mad at him at all. Because the rule of the game is anybody can get it. The hard part is keeping it. So, I mean, even if you go back and let's look at Japan lore. Those missed spits in the face, they have different things. Wow. Some cause paralysis. What the hell am I talking about? Paralysis. Some cause stun. Some cause blindness. Some cause all other type of different things. He said he would go straight to the hood and just say, I'm just going to spit in your face, mother. And he did. And you know what? I ain't mad at him.
Seems like he's been watching our playbook a little bit closely, huh? Toa doing what he has to do, but still, nonetheless,
Hey, yo,
leaving New Orleans.
cut me a little bit.
I do have to take this time out to give El Guapo a shout out. He had that title very close. Toa resorting to
Wapo's a good dude.
tactics. Yeah, great match. Great match. Speaking of great matches.
Let me say this. Wapo's a good dude. A very formidable competitor. He's a very consistent guy. He's a very, very much liked person.
Okay, let me just ask the question that everybody wants to know. Could Toa have beaten him fair and square, or was it Wapo's night? If
he could have beaten him fair and square, but it was Wapo's night. But it wasn't Wapo's night. If that makes sense to you.
No. I love when you speak
to you. He gotta get that dog in him. Toa had that dog in him. That's the reason why he didn't win. Wapo, you could have had it, but Toa had that.
What's this Tyrese Gibson thing from Baby Boy you got going now? You all right?
No, all right, let's keep. He was never this successful.
All right, this next matchup is one I know that you will be deeply interested in. It's the triple threat powerhouse championship matchup between Bubba Killings, Chris Lassiter.
Hey, what belt?
The powerhouse championship triple threat matchup between Bubba Killings, Chris Lassiter, and of course, the reigning, defending for over a year. This man has been the powerhouse champion, the legend, Mel Walker. Listen, what was going to be the story of this match? Was Mel Walker going to continue to make history and keep going and going and going and be unstoppable? Or would Bubba Killings or Chris Lassiter make history? We were about to find out. Either way, it was going to be historic. Bubba Killings made his way down to the ring to his Bad Southern Boy soundtrack. Killings told everyone all week in the back he was going to shock the world tonight and leave New Orleans as the new powerhouse champion. It's hard not to believe that Bubba Killings, I'm telling you. The music of fan favorite Chris Lassiter played on the sound system, and the building exploded for Lassiter, who has been having some of the best matches of his entire career in the past few months here in PWR. The odds, however, were stacked against Lassiter, but that wasn't anything that he wasn't accustomed to, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, the lights went out, and only a fog filled the ramp area, and the music of the legendary family, they like to call themselves, known as Venom, alerted all in the entire Superdome that the longest reigning champion in the history of this company that has been going on for almost 5 years
let it be known
way out from Gorilla. Ladies and gentlemen, he is your powerhouse champion. The big ticket, Mel Walker, was all alone, which kind of shocked fans a little bit as he was holding the powerhouse championship up in his hand, just like he has for the past year and some change, ladies and gentlemen. Would his reign end tonight? Would it end, T? Or would Mel Walker keep this legendary run going and going?
First of all, you got to understand something. No. You hush real quick. That's my bro. That's my blood. That's my bro. Walking out. I know you don't, and that's the reason why. Hey, have you ever seen someone get strangled by their necktie? You might want to hush. That's my bro. Have you ever seen that happen in PWR before? That man has held that title down. Why would you flake on him now? Why would you think that things would change now? Why would you think that? He don't need nobody to walk out with him. He done did it all. He's done it all.
Are you done? The champion entered the ring as Bubba and Lassiter chose specifically not to make eye contact with the champion. He handed over the championship, and the referee showed the fans what was on the line. It was the powerhouse championship, that beautiful championship. The bell rang, and we were off. Mel Walker came right out the gates and inserted himself just like a champion should, as Bubba rushed him only to be taken to the outside of the ring with the big-time back body drop from Walker. Lassiter tried to lock horns with Walker, but he had other ideas as he kneed Lassiter in the ribs and dropped him with the big-time clothesline. The powerhouse champion looked unstoppable as he skied from the top turnbuckle with the 5-star splash, landing right on top of Lassiter early as he pinned him for the 1, the 2. But Bubba Killings pulled Mel Walker off and began giving him a good old southern ass whooping. You ever had one of those, T?
Chill on that. And by the way, it only takes 6 pounds per square inches to knock an eyeball out. Watch your mouth.
All right. Bubba nailed a DDT on Mel Walker and pinned him as well for the 1, the 2. But Lassiter this time broke up Bubba's chance to make history. What intense action early in this one from these three. Bubba Killings quickly said we can take him out as he was working or trying to work together with Lassiter. And then once we get rid of him, may the best man win, said Killings. Chris, without saying a word in response, agreed with the head nod. This was a smart choice as he and Bubba Killings started picking up Mel Walker and then double teaming him with big boots to the face. What'd you think about this, T?
I mean, it's common sense. I mean, I can't hate on that. That's common sense. That's what you're supposed to do. Common sense.
Chris Lassiter then was directing traffic as he told Bubba Minnesota Spear, and Bubba clicked right away as Killings drilled Mel Walker, who went flying to the outside of the ring. But that's when the electricity in the building went up another level because Bubba Killings turned around facing Lassiter as he said, "Now you're mine, boy," said Killings. And that's when Lassiter immediately sorry?
Yeah, you didn't say boy the right way. You said,
say it, because you're from out there. Yeah, say it.
You're mine, boy.
And then Chris Lassiter responded, "What the fuck I tell you about that boy shit?" blurted out Lassiter, who laced a right hand quickly to Killings' mouth. "Bitch, watch your mouth," said Lassiter as he was clearly trying to set the tone. "Woo! That is crazy. Fuck you, boy," said Bubba as he countered with his own shot. What an amazing back and forth with trash talk with these two as it's getting intense. Then back came Chris, then Bubba with the strike, then Chris came back with another strike, then Bubba fired as the two returned shots back and forth. The crowd loved it, but the two had taken their eyes off the most dangerous man in professional wrestling, Mel Walker. He drilled both superstars with a double clothesline and then signaled for the MKO. He pointed at Bubba Killings first and nailed Bubba with the big-time finisher. He then went to pick up Lassiter, but Chris struck Walker in the throat and then threw him over the ropes to the outside again. He then hopped on the top of Bubba, who was out cold for the 1, the 2, but Bubba Killings kicked out, T. Bubba Killings kicked out as fans started chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome."
I was there, damn it. Keep on.
Woo! Fans were all just like myself on this roller coaster ride here as Chris Lassiter put his hand over his mouth. He couldn't believe what was taking place. He thought that was his moment. Lassiter signaled for the blue in the face curb stomp as he bounced off the ropes. But Mel Walker intercepted Lassiter with a huge flying forearm. Chris Lassiter was done at this point. Mel signaled for the MKO, but Killings crushed Walker with the Minnesota Spear. Bubba Killings is going crazy as Walker went through the ropes to the outside again. Killings hooked Chris' legs for the 1, the 2, but Lassiter kicked out. He kicked out. It's still going in this match. Oh my God. Bubba then signaled for yet another Minnesota Spear as Chris was groggy and slowly getting to his feet. Bubba charged towards him, but Chris leaped in the air and connected on a perfect knee to the side of Bubba Killings' face. He bounced off the ropes and nailed the blue in the face curb stomp to the face of Killings. Mel was slow getting up to the ring apron as Lassiter and the fans stood as he pinned him for the 1, the 2,
No.
the 3, the winner, and new PWR Powerhouse Champion, the face of the place, Chris Lassiter. T, don't say a word. Let me have my moment.
You
Oh
can have your
my
damn moment.
God.
Matter of fact, have your damn
Woo,
a whole
Smoky Norfolk
fucking
song.
moment. Have your
Hallelujah. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. We have a new PWR Powerhouse Champion, Chris Lassiter, as pyro went off, confetti was falling from the ceiling, and of course, tears from your new, I'll say it again because I know he can hear me in the back, your new Powerhouse Champion, Chris Lassiter. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the greatest pay-per-view in my recent memory. Tell me if I'm wrong. T, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm right because I'll say it again. We have a new powerhouse champion, and his name is Chris Lassiter. There's not a man better deserving for that opportunity. I'm so proud. I'm so happy.
No,
But
are you still having your moment? You still having your moment?
I have one more thing to say. Please.
Finish your moment.
No matter that there is a new powerhouse champion, what Mel Walker has done for the past year is unprecedented, and he will always go down in the history books as the greatest powerhouse ever. T, I'm sure you want to piggyback and take some positive from the negative, or do you want to talk negative with me? Which one?
I'm going to do both. Because
Okay.
you ain't going to tell me what the hell to damn do. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Longest reigning champion, period. No matter what title it is, longest reigning champion, period. Mel Walker, PWR, longest reigning champion, period. 400 plus days. Now, that's the positive. The negative is.
Ooh.
The negative
That's your boy right there on the flip. He just texted me. He is invoking his rematch clause immediately at the next PWR show. He feels he was robbed. He said he wasn't pinned. He's invoking his rematch clause. Mel Walker and your new powerhouse champion, Chris Lassiter, one-on-one at our next show. Wow, main event.
Well, he wasn't pinned. That should be the thing that happens.
Whew.
I'm here to tell you right now.
Wow. What a show, my buck.
No. That's called self-incrimination. I'm not going to do that. Hey,
Buck,
congratulations, Chris. Congratulations, Chris. 326 Longworth Drive. Congratulations.
All right. And we'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Can I hold on? We have two more big time matches. We have our co-main event coming up right now. And of course, the main event of the night, the PWR World Heavyweight Championship. The winner of that matchup will go on to face JTO at Rise to Power. We're cooking, T. You know, it's not crack, but it, you can multiply it. You double up and you get a lot of money.
Hey, quick question. Does he still have that same old lady checking his meal while he's away? The one that comes out in the pink moo-moo?
Anyways, are you ready for this one? I think if you tell me you're not ready for this one, you're not a wrestling fan, because this next matchup is the ladder match. It's not just real quick. A ladder match. It's the ladder match of the century. Yes.
Real quick. Are you ready for this ladder match?
I don't think I am, but I'm excited for it.
Hey, let's get ready then. Let's get ready. Let's
right.
Let's power back up. Power back up. PWR, we got to power back up. Get your shit back.
Of course, this match is a ladder match. We know the participants, the Korean Kaiju Kwon Soo, one-on-one with Puerto Rican Hector, Mr. Sazon. We know the story behind this match. Listen, whoever can reach that briefcase that's hanging above the ring, you have to climb that ladder. You got to get the briefcase. Will Puerto Rican Hector be able to get into the contents of that briefcase and retrieve his boy? That's what everybody wants to know. Or would Kwon Soo walk out of this arena and walk away with a part of this man's life forever? Inside of the briefcase was a device or a phone of some sorts with information of the whereabouts of the Boricua kid. That's what's on the line. If Hector wins, he gets his son and his family back. But if he doesn't, it's not going to be any good, T.
No. But hey, ask Chris Lasseter. Never mind. Go ahead.
The music of Puerto Rican Hector played, and fans stood wanting to cheer. Very awkward. Very awkward. It was almost silent as fans didn't want to disrupt Mr. Sazon, the superstar's entire life has been derailed since he lost his boy. Could he climb that ladder and end this darkness in his life? Or would Quan Su reign supreme in PWR? The lights went out, and the fans were ready to see the enigma known as the Korean Kaiju. His music got fans so hyped as finally he appeared, and we heard the loudest boos of the night, T, as fans let Quan Su they know that they were not happy with this recent adventures kidnapping one of PWR's youngest superstars. Quan Su stopped halfway down the ramp and roared and scared a little girl sitting in the front row as he yelled, "The boogeyman is here," at the little girl. Woo! Woo!
Woo! Woo!
Quan was massive, T. Massive.
Woo!
Big time superstars as he stepped in the ring that was surrounded by ladders. He and Puerto Rican Hector both look above as the referee signaled for this matchup to begin. Now, Hector came out with a ton of heart, swinging like a desperate man and was landing some big time huge shots to Quan Su. But as heavy as they were, Quan seemed to be taking them quite well. Well enough, indeed, to stop the rally of Hector right away with a nasty choke slam. And Quan Su roared at the fans again at this point. He then went to the outside and easily heaved one ladder over the ropes like it was a little toy, a trinket, and then grabbed another, tossing it in the ring. The second one coming down, nailing Puerto Rican Hector right in the head. Yep, nailed him right in the head as it bounced off the ring. He stomped away at Puerto Rican Hector as he walked over and began setting up one of these ladders, T. Would this one be over this quick? We're about to find out. Quan started making his way up as fans were booing heavily. It was about to be over before it started, and he was almost at the top when Puerto Rican Hector grabbed his massive boot and yanked the big man down one step. He pulled again, and Quan stumbled down off the ladder. Hector then saw an opening with Quan off of his feet for a moment and missile drop kicked the Korean Kaiju right in the mask he was known for wearing. "You bitch! You son of a bitch!" said Hector as he started pounding rights and left haymakers. Big time shots, and I mean big time shots to the face of Quan Su. You could feel the pain behind these blows. He then did a football style kick to Quan Su's face as he laid there without moving. Hector quickly turned and fixed the ladder in position as he started making his way up the steel ladder. The fans were cheering on Hector as he got his fingertips on the briefcase. But soon after, Quan Su rose quickly like the dead man. He rose up like a dead man from the mat and he grabbed the ladder and started shaking it, T, as Puerto Rican Hector barely was holding on at this point. Then he reached up and grabbed Hector for another choke slam. He threw the ladder on top of Hector, and
I would do.
And then he set up the other one and began climbing. The fans boos, and it was inevitable at this point. He's just too powerful, too strong. Hector wasn't getting his son back. Everybody could see the writing on the wall. But before Quan reached the briefcase, we heard one last remark, one last sound from the mouth of Puerto Rican Hector. "You are a fucking monster, and that's why your dad didn't want you. That's why he left you," said Hector. "You are just a coward," yelled Hector. "A real fucking pussy." This enraged Kwon-Soo, and he came back down the ladder. He snatched Hector up by both arms in position for the Kaiju bomb as he crushed Hector and sitting down on the mat with Hector's limp body in front of him. Kwon-Soo pushed Hector off and then got to his feet, climbing the ladder rung by rung. As he got closer and closer, fans were booing as finally Kwon-Soo snatched the briefcase down. Fans couldn't believe it. The winner of this match, Kwon-Soo! Boos covered the arena as Kwon-Soo came down with the briefcase in hand, and that's when he opened it, checking to see what was inside. He pulled out a small tablet or device, and he opened it. And Hector, once again, barely with any life in his body, his eyes were barely open, got a small laugh, and he said, did you think, pussy, that I didn't have a backup plan? Did you think that for 1 second? And then the lights went out, T, and we saw this.
Yeah, that's all you're getting, and you're lucky that you're getting that.
In a few days, they've been treating me good. They said, soon, if I behave good, they'll probably let me out.
But you do know somebody who could help us. You know people that could help us, right? You know them. Why don't you allow them to help us?
For Firewatch, pathetic. This is quite easy. I got this. Okay, I'm in. Okay, target confirmed.
Man, please don't hurt me. This big guy with dreads, he paid me to watch the kid for a few hours, and he said he'll be right back. Please, man, I really need the money. I got a family. Please don't hurt me, please.
So you have a family. So does the kid.
The lights went out, and when they came back on, Hector was gone. Kwon-Soo was gone. Oh my God. The kid is free. That's what it means. I can confirm that the Boricua kid is back with his dad and his mom. Puerto Rican Hector is back with his family. And dare I speculate who that was that rescued the Boricua kid? Dare I speculate?
But who did it?
T, I have a question for you. Does anybody do it better than PWR?
Not a single entity in this damn world.
Speaking of entities, we still have the World Heavyweight Championship match. The main event of the night. We're here, T.
Oh.
This is the big one. We are finally here for the main event of the night, which will determine the future landscape of PWR. Will it be the man who already defeated our champion in the past, or will it be the concussed, damaged brain version of the Big Hurt? who is more vulnerable than we have ever seen him. The music of the dangerous challenger, Jack Harvey, erupted on the sound system, and the heat was real as every fan was booing Jack Harvey out of the building. He seemed to love it, however, and he asked for more, waving more boos in while grinning at first and then getting more and more serious as he got closer and closer to the ring, finally realizing this was his moment to shine. And that's when we heard "You're nobody till somebody kills you." Boom, 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 boom. All right, I went too far. The PWR World Heavyweight Champion, Big Hurt, came out sporting the most prestigious heavyweight championship in this business on his shoulder. Hurt got a big pop from the New Orleans fans, and the camera flashes were a spectacle to see. Many wanted to see, really, if Hurt would be knocked off once again by Jack Harvey, as he has been in the past. Hurt was blinking his eyes quite a bit more than normal from the bright lights in the arena, which apparently, as of last night, he was still having several migraines believed to be associated with the brutal attack from Jack Harvey several weeks ago. He was advised to sit out 2 more weeks from his physicians to clear his head, but Big Hurt, being the fighting champion, being our captain, went against doctor's orders as he would be set to push forward in hopes to be an example for the PWR locker room. The referee showed the World Heavyweight Championship to fans and handed it over to ringside officials before signaling for the bell. Ding, ding, ding. The two got right down to business, locking up with Big Hurt shoving Jack Harvey away. Harvey came in for another clinch, and this time Hurt scooped him up with ease and laced him with the textbook body slam, and then dropped a huge leg drop right to the face of Harvey. Apparently, Hurt was his old self, because instead of taking that opportunity to pin Harvey, he instead elected to give the New Orleans fans, women, a few things as they threw the beads at him. The bigger, sexier, got the fans going as he said, "You like that grind, baby?" Hurt asked the young lady in the front row. He then turned and reached for Harvey, but was met by a sweeping left hook that clearly did severe damage on impact, because right away, Big Hurt's eyes were blinking very fast again, T. I was a bit worried about the guy's mental state. Harvey picked up on Hurt's head being hurt by this blow and went right after it quickly, first with one headbutt, and then Harvey went mad. He dropped 7 or 8 headbutts repeatedly until he was welting on his own forehead, causing himself to get dizzy. What a lunatic. Harvey shook it off and then took the champ off his feet with the flying head scissors. Harvey then got on Hurt's back and began drilling elbows to his head consistently as the referee tried to get Harvey off, who just pushed the official off. "Get your hands off me," said Jack Harvey. Woo! He then rolled to the outside and dragged Big Hurt by the leg outside with him. Another brutal headbutt from Harvey was followed by an Irish whip head first into the steel steps for Big Hurt. The loud thunk was heads hurt, taking more and more severe damage to that already concussed injury that he's been dealing with. Wow.
This will be a game changer.
Man, Harvey then picked up Big Hurt as the ref was counting at this point, and he ripped a few chops into the chest of Big Hurt as fans wooed along with Jack Harvey. He threw Hurt back inside and then went to the top turnbuckle. Harvey was putting on a show here. He skied off with the clothesline and dropped the champion, pinning him for the 1, the 2, but Big Hurt kicked out. Harvey bounced off the ropes and drove a nasty knee to Hurt's head once again, pinning him again for the 1, the 2, but the North Star kicked out again as the building was getting louder and louder as the champ was holding on to his head. You could tell there was some severe damage up there, T. Bad spot for Big Hurt right here.
Absolutely. It's worse because, I mean, you let a man build a house of fire. He built a house of fire. The crowd is behind him. Everyone knows what's going on. He's pulling out move after move after move, and these are not just regular in-ring, technician move.
Yeah, he's targeting the head clearly on this.
He's targeting the head clearly, and that's what's about it.
That's when we saw Harvey charge in for another big time move and jumped high in the air, but Hurt had him scouted and dropped him with the Glock bottom, catching him midair. He then picked up Jack Harvey for a nasty German suplex, which he executed to a T. He quickly pinned Jack Harvey for the 1, the 2, but Jack broke free as fans thought that could be it right there, but Jack Harvey was still in this matchup. Hurt shook his head as he clearly was dazed by all these shots he's been taking lately. The referee continued to check on him. "I'm fine," said Hurt. "I'm fine." As Harvey slowly got to his feet. "Stay down, Hurt," said Harvey. "Think about Tapu Lele," said Harvey. This was a mistake because this was like smelling salt, it seemed like, for Hurt, who woke up when he heard his daughter's name spoken. Jack Harvey threw a right hand at Hurt, and he ate it. He ate the punch. "What did you just fucking say?" said Hurt. "I said, I'm going to make it so your daughter will feed you through a straw," said Harvey. Big Hurt saw red at this point and cleared Harvey with the Dexter Manley spear. He then went to the second turnbuckle, did Hurt, and skied off with a 5-star splash, landing on top of Harvey, pinning him for the 1, the 2, but Jack Harvey kicked out of it. How did Jack Harvey kick out of it as the fans started chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome"? Listen, we were trending on every sports platform in the world at this point. Big Hurt tried to pick up Jack Harvey, but he raked the face of Hurt as he fumbled backwards, grabbing his eyes. He then nailed Big Hurt with the devastating clothesline, but Hurt was still on his feet, wobbly. He was wobbly, but he was still on his feet. Jack Harvey loaded up for another clothesline as he bounced off the ropes, but Big Hurt instead had another idea, loading up the Fist of the North Star as he leaped up high in the air, right in the target zone, nailing Harvey on the kisser with the big time move as he hooked his legs, pinning him for the 1, the 2, the 3, the winner, and still PWR World Heavyweight Champion, Big Hurt. What a gutsy performance by both men. Big Hurt walking out, pyro exploding. He is still the man around here. PWR, we are clearly reloaded. I'm Scott Mack. He's the postman. We always deliver. Woo! God damn.